what's up you guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Kylie if you're new, and today, yes, I'm gonna be reviewing Mother. That was my cat Endora. She makes an appearance from time to time. So, Mother, or Mother, because of the exclamation point. This movie came out in 2017 and it's rated at a 68% on Rotten Tomatoes. And here's what happened. A young woman spends her days renovating the Victorian mansion that she lives in with her husband in the countryside. When a stranger knocks on the door one night, he becomes an unexpected guest in their home. Later, his wife and 2 children also arrive to make themselves welcome. Terror soon strikes when the wife tries to figure out why her husband is so seemingly friendly and accommodating to everyone but her. Now, typically I get into some fun facts, and then I get into my more general opinions about the movie, and then I get into some spoilers. But today I have a comment shout out for this video. So the New Pact Entertainment Zone said, can you please watch the horror movie Mother with Jennifer Lawrence and review it? Because it has the scariest, most traumatizing ending ever to be in a horror movie, and is a masterpiece with many metaphors and amazing acting, and doesn't rely on cheap jump scares. So shout out the New Pact Entertainment Zone for the comment, for the request, because that's why I watched this movie and why I'm reviewing it today. But when you said traumatizing, you were not kidding. I'll get into that, but let's just start with some fun facts. By the way, these first fun facts are spoiler free, but once I get into my spoilers section, I do have some fun facts that are very interesting in that section as well. Throughout the entire movie, no names are ever mentioned of any of the characters. You only get to know their names once the credits start rolling at the end. Jennifer Lawrence is also barefoot during the entire movie, and she also thinks that this was one of Michelle Pfeiffer's best performances in any movie that she's ever done. And she even claims that during one scene, she forgot her lines because as Michelle was coming down the hallway, Jennifer Lawrence was so mesmerized by the color of her eyes. Jennifer Lawrence also took a year off of filmmaking after this movie because this film was so emotionally taxing. Could you imagine being wealthy and just being like, oh, I need a year off from work? Must be nice. Anyways. The comedy actress Kristen Wiig actually stars in this movie, and she was the very last actor to be cast, and it was very last minute. So the director Darren Aronofsky released a statement prior to releasing this movie, and I'm gonna put it up on screen right now and just pause it if you want to read the whole thing, because I'm not gonna read the entire thing. But essentially, climate change and humans destroying the planet and all that stuff, and like humanity kind of imploding, is what gave him the inspiration to make this movie. He claims that one morning he just woke up and this movie poured out of him like a fever dream, which makes sense because this movie very much feels like a fever dream, but it only took him 5 days to write the script. He also says that the exclamation point at the end of the title of this movie is in reference to the last 30 minutes of the film, which if you've seen it, makes perfect sense. Paramount canceled the upcoming Friday the 13th movie in order to go ahead with this one because of their belief in it. And at the Venice Film Festival, this movie received both boos and a standing ovation at the same time. So some general thoughts, this has a dynamite cast. Like when I say dynamite, I mean dynamite. And it's just such a wonder because this is such a weird movie, and like it's not a safe bet for most actors to be getting involved. Like Jennifer Lawrence, who's the star, like I mean, okay, granted, she made all the money she would ever need by the time she was like 25, so she really can take oddball roles if she feels like it. But like I said, she had to take a year off after filming this movie because it was so emotionally taxing, and I feel like that's the best way to describe this movie, is just it's emotionally taxing. You experience so much anxiety through her character because the cinematography, like there's not much peripheral vision. What you see is basically like if I were up like this close to the camera all the time, and like you're seeing me from right about here or seeing the back of my head from here, and like everything is through my POV. That's kind of how you experience the movie through Jennifer Lawrence's character, and like it's very unsettling because it creates a lot of tension between her and the environment because you can't see the peripherals. You're like, okay, is something coming? Like, is there something in the room with her? The unknown just makes it a lot more unsettling. So for that reason, the cinematography is very distinct and very well done. And also if you're a horror fan, it makes it a lot more horrifying. But going back to the cast, so seeing Kristen Wiig in this movie was really strange because this is only the second movie that she's been in that has not been a comedy, and it's her first horror movie. Now the fact that she has never played a character like the one in this movie made it all the more unsettling because here you have this comedy actress who is hilarious and is always such a light and happy energy on screen, and now she's I won't spoil it, she's something else, makes it infinitely more unsettling than if it had been an unknown actress or if it had been another common horror actress. You know what I mean? Michelle Pfeiffer's character also made me so uncomfortable because this character was so different than anything else I'd ever seen her play in. Another horror movie she was in is What Lies Beneath, and she starred in that with Harrison Ford. And in that movie, she was very much like the damsel, she was the victim, and kind of in this movie, she's different. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's just, ugh. It's very unsettling seeing her in a position like this as well. It's just really intense because you have these high profile actors that you feel like you know them really well and they're just not acting like themselves at all, if you can kind of dig what I'm saying by that. So it ups the discomfort and the anxiety by like a lot. So that was very effective horror for me. Another thing that I really liked was the setting, and the house looked amazing. It was gorgeous. I think the production design was really good. It was a little bit like The Last House on the Left in Vivarium, where the house is just kind of very plain and like kind of monochromatic, which again makes me a little uncomfortable because I am used to living in a world full of color. I mean, like, obviously. Now, the pacing of this movie, I know that slow burn movies are not for everybody, but this movie starts off really slow and then it goes from 0 to 100 real quick. Like, you think you're watching a really slow, possibly boring movie, depends who you are and what your taste is, possibly boring movie, and then it explodes, and it's just something so unexpected. This movie is very unexpected in all kinds of ways. Like, it becomes so chaotic, and because you're experiencing all the emotions of Jennifer Lawrence, it feels extremely relatable, and it's just such a stressful experience as an audience member. Hi. Oh. Hi. Can you please be quiet? Can you please stop? My cat is... Stop! She's rubbing her face on my tripod. But another thing about the pacing is oftentimes you really can't tell how much time has passed. Sometimes like time jumps in really weird ways and they don't signal to you, but then randomly something else will come up and you're like, oh wait, oh my god, okay, so this much time has passed, got it. They just don't cue the audience very well, and you're kind of always scraping to like keep up and figure out what the hell is going on. So for these reasons, I think it's an effective horror movie. It gets very gory. Like, I'm gonna get into the ending in my spoiler section, but seriously, I don't know if I recommend this movie. I'm gonna give you my general thoughts now, but I think it's beautifully well done. Like, the metaphors concerning Mother Earth and God and things like that, they come into play so cohesively, and like, I can definitely appreciate this movie. However, I am never ever going to watch it again because the ending of this film and what Jennifer's character goes through is just so intense. It's so anxiety inducing. It's so stressful that I see no reason to ever put myself through that again. Now, if you're someone that doesn't like being spoon-fed a plot and you like to use your brain more and like think about things more analytically and dissect the movie, absolutely watch this movie. I think that you'll like it. It definitely requires patience and intelligence, so just bear that in mind if you're gonna be watching this movie. However, even if you're someone that like prefers slashers and prefers high energy, chaotic movies, this movie has so much chaos. Like, Endora, you interrupted me. Like, if I could go back in time and spare myself the stress of watching this movie, I probably would. It's kind of one of those movies that is never going to leave you. Like, the imagery will definitely be burned in your mind. So for that reason, like, yeah, it's a good horror movie. I just don't know that I'd necessarily recommend it because it is so stressful and the elements involved are so disturbing. It's not an enjoyable film. However, it is a good film. So just bear all that in mind. I know sometimes my recommendations are really vague, but honestly, it kind of just depends on what your preferences are. So I'm just gonna leave it at the fact that it's an amazing, well-made movie with amazing acting. However, because of how stressful, chaotic, anxiety-inducing, and disgusting it was, I will never watch it again. Okay, now I'm gonna get into my spoiler section and I'm gonna talk about some fun facts that do involve spoilers. So I have another quote from the director, and he basically explains all the direct metaphors of the movie. It's really interesting, so definitely pause that, give it a read if you're so inclined. But basically, Jennifer Lawrence's character represents Mother Earth, her husband represents God, and then the house, of course, is Earth. It is her creation, she's very connected to it, and she is just watching humanity tear it apart, essentially. So the first guest is Ed Harris's character, and he represents Adam. So basically, as the story goes, like, God created Adam and Eve out of boredom, and that is represented by the couple that comes to stay with them in the house. When the man is drunk and he's throwing up in the toilet and everything, you can see that he has a slash in his back, and that is supposed to represent the fact that he has had a rib removed, and that has something to do with the Bible as well, with like Adam getting his rib removed, I believe, for the creation of the rest of man. I can't really remember. I didn't really pay attention in Sunday school, so I don't know. But then the next day, his wife, the representation of Eve, arrives at the house. So there's a lot that has to do with like the metaphors of the Bible and what happens in the film and everything like that. One of the most interesting things is that like when Earth is being destroyed, Jennifer Lawrence's character, like Mother Earth, she's walking around and she's seeing all these different acts of violence, like the rioting and protesting, sex trafficking. The publisher, played by Kristen Wiig, is walking around and like shooting people in the head on the floor. I forget what that's supposed to represent, but just a bunch of crazy stuff. And like then she starts getting beat up and everything. And then obviously, oh my god, in the final scene, I guess we have to talk about the fact that all of his fans kill and eat her baby. So fun fact, Jennifer Lawrence admits that she has actually never watched that scene. She had no interest in doing that because she believed it actually crossed a line, which I agree as well. Like, it definitely made for one of the most disturbing horror movies I've ever seen, like great shock value and everything like that. But personally, I don't feel like it was necessary. I just felt like it was possibly the worst way to end a film. Like, I don't even really know why she was pregnant in the first place, because you could have gotten across all these metaphors without her being pregnant and that happening. But I digress. My last fun fact is the fact that this is Kristen Wiig's first ever on-screen death. As I mentioned, it's her first ever horror movie, and her death was disgusting, and just that whole scene, oh, the whole movie was so stressful. I think that the ending of him taking out her heart and getting like the diamond out of her heart was like a very cool way to tie it into the beginning of the movie. Like, it definitely came full circle, which also could be a representation for like the circle of life, maybe. There's also a lot of imagery with her like feeling the walls of the house. Obviously, she's part of the house as Mother Earth with the earth, the house. And there's this imagery of like her heart slowly becoming blacker and blacker. And I'm wondering if this is sort of a metaphor for like how when you push coal hard enough, like it turns into a diamond. So her husband, this god character or whatever, was like hardening her soul and hardening her heart to the point where she created a new diamond for him. And it does make you wonder, even if you're not religious, like once humanity dies in the end, what will the next cycle be? Will humanity just start over? Because initially, you know, we had the dinosaurs and stuff like that. Now we have humanity, so it's like, what's next? And it was really interesting to see God portrayed as this man that like doesn't really care about his wife and just cares about his fans, and it's very strange, but like it's definitely a really good think piece. It makes you think. So thank you to the New Pact Entertainment Zone for recommending this movie to me. I don't know if I would have watched it otherwise, just because all I've heard about it was that it's the most disturbing movie that anybody's seen apparently, but I guess I would have given in to my curiosity eventually anyways. So there you have it. That is my review of Mother. I could keep going on for quite a while, but my camera is about to die because I've been filming literally all day. I've been trying to get a lot of videos out of the way because, to be honest, I've been having some health issues regarding my mouth, and I might be getting my braces back on soon. I will be getting clear braces. There is no way in hell I'm getting metal ones back on my face. No way. But in any case, take a good long last look at these beautiful teeth. No, I'm totally kidding. I would only have them on for like a couple of months. I just need to fix my bite. But yeah, I've been filming all day, so my camera was about to die. So follow me on social media at Kai Johns on Twitter and Instagram. On Instagram, I am constantly posting what horror movie I'm watching so that you guys can watch it as well, just in case I do a review of it very soon in the future. You can also follow my vlog channel. This week I posted my vlog of going to the Stanley Hotel, which is where Stephen King got the inspiration to write The Shining. That was so super cool, and I vlogged the whole thing, so definitely check that out. As always, check out the petitions and the GoFundMes link down below. I update those every week. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and that I catch you in the next one. Bye!